let's look at that a bit. So science is trustworthy. And reason for that is the theories of science considered trustworthy because they are verifiable. Its claims are verifiable. So verifiable claims are considered knowledge. And second, it is able to predict the future events. Number three, because using this knowledge we can control the events in nature. So in a way, his understanding of science is pretty spot on. For us, science is not knowledge. Science is systematized information. And science predicts about the main function of science is control of nature. And why do we want to control the nature? We want to exploit the nature for. That's the raison d'etre of science, for accumulation, for the sake of. To impose sovereignty of humanity over nature. And that's why we call science scientific rationality, capitalist rationality. The knowledge for us, as Imam Ghazali said, is the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what Quran says, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. So scientist is not an alim. Ilm is a different thing. Ilm is khashyatullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ilm is to know the reality as it is, and if you know the reality as it is, then you know that everything is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why we say that Rasul Hikmah makhafatullah. I think it's hadith, but the essence of wisdom is fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I think Imam Ghazali relates this hadith in Ihya. I don't know the narration chain of this hadith, but the meaning is quite clear. And that's one of Allama Iqbal's biggest mistake in this book, is that he considers science as knowledge in the Islamic sense. That's why he's so keen to prove that Muslims are the one who invented science in Spain and then European took over from them. But even if Muslim invented it, everything Muslim invented is not good. Or Islamic Muslims did a lot of fraudulent stuff in Spain and other places. So that's why we always make difference between Muslim and Islam. Islam is the criterion for Qur'an. It is judge on everything else, Muslims and non-Muslims. So, and in my view, materialism is not the problem. The problem is you can have spiritualism too. I mean, if science goes a spiritual way, that's not going to change its nature. Just because mechanistic worldview is partially replaced by a quantum worldview or relativistic worldview doesn't change the fact that science, the purpose of science is what he says here, verifiability, and that's his method in partially anyway. So verify. But there's a major, we have discussed it some other place, but the major misunderstanding Allama Iqbal has about science is that he thinks that science is about observing nature. Science is about collecting data from that raw observation. But that's very minor part of science. what science is really based on is controlled experiment. It creates its own reality, and that's where the observations and take place and experiments take place. How in controlled experiment, changing different variables and seeing relationship between them. That's how it comes. It arrives at laws which it talks about. So that's why those laws are not really laws of nature. Or if they are laws of nature, they are projected from that controlled experiment. And why controlled experiments are important for science? Because it's trying to see how it can control the nature and then exploit it. Then he said, but we must not forget that what we call science is not a single systematic view of reality. That's true and false. True from the point of view in which he will explain it, but it's false from the point of view that there is ethos of science, which he himself has just defined. So that